So, wondering what everybody's up to today. If you're celebrating Passover, are you cooking? What are you cooking? Love to hear some of your dish suggestions that you've made. Are you doing any crafting around your Seder tables? Oh, wild wing dufferin and steels. Oh my goodness, I love wild wings. Should I say that? No, I shouldn't. Yes, I should. Wild wings. Love your wings. Miss them. I wonder if oh, there's Oak Learners. So hopefully they're going to request in about a minute. I'm quite excited. Oak Learners, we're waiting for Kelly to request to join. We're so excited to hear all about your school, Oak Learners. Yes, I've been researching your school. Looks pretty awesome. View. Go live. Waiting for Oak Learners to join me. Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you? You look wonderful.
Well, you know what? I got dressed for you this morning. It's really tough. Today is just so we know, what day is today? Today is all day. It is Wednesday. Am I correct, Miss Teacher?
I think so.
Right, see, this is what we have to work on every day to know that it's not Monday or Tuesday or Sunday.
It's true. Knowing the day is probably one of the most challenging things each day, because the routine every day feels almost the same. So I almost,
getting dressed. That's all.
Yeah, it is. I put on my Oak Learner shirt for you. Here you go.
Listen, wait, hold on. That's so good. At least you I put on proper pants for you, not bottoms. Like, really?
I did not. I've got pajamas.
Well, I felt, I'm getting go. You are the principal?
I am the principal and the executive director.
Okay, so I kind of felt that it was important to be a little dressed for the principal, because, when we're seeing the principal.
It's true.
Right?
But I'm not that kind of principal. So when kids come to my school and they ask me, they're like, are you the principal? They always ask me like in that voice, right? And I say, I'm not that kind of principal. So I am not the kind of principal that's going to sit you down and berate you. I don't have chairs outside my office. My office door is always open. And you know me. I mean, I'm here to help. I'm here to be welcoming. And I'm here to encourage children to self-monitor themselves. So they don't need me berating them for anything.
Okay, so let me start this off properly. I'm Pamela from Crafting for a Cure. And today on our guest, as you can see, we have Kelly she's the principal executive director from Oak Learners. And what excited me, why I wanted her, is I know that the public school system, yes, has started online, correct, right?
Yep.
But you've been doing online since, I think, the beginning, right?
Pretty much. So we have, where do I start? Okay, so launching our online school was part of our plan for the next 6 months anyway. So when everybody had to pivot to going online at the beginning of March, it was pretty easy for us because it was already something that we wanted to do. So we know that so many children in Ontario and around the world, for so many different reasons, a lot of them medical, can't attend school. So we wanted to offer our program to all of those children at home as well. So we do have a lot of children in our day school that for reasons one or another, they can't attend a regular public school or a regular private school. So we are quite small. We have 6-to-1 ratio. And we wanted to bring that level of personalization to children and families that are home. So doing it now just made us speed up our timeline, but the framework was there.
So how good is that? So now the question, I have a lot of parents who've said to me, Pam, do you know anybody that could supplement? So some parents have looked at Kumon, right? I'll be honest, that's up and I'm like, for sure. But I said, I don't know what will be a question we'll ask. I don't know if they offer part-time classes or they're strictly full-time. I don't know. So this is the question I'm asking to you. How do you?
Yeah. All of the above. So we do almost anything it takes to help a family access education and educational support for their children. So when we're in person, we do full-time, we do part-time, we do private tutoring, we do correspondence, we do all kinds of stuff. I have a team of almost 25 educators right now. We're constantly adding new teachers to that with different specializations, different qualifications, yeah, just to make sure we got everybody covered.
So could someone go on to oaklearners.com? .ca. So someone could go on to oaklearners.ca and say, you know what, I want my kid to do more math or more science during, especially science. I don't know how they do science. I mean, but I'm using those.
We do science. We love science.
Right. So I'm using those subjects and saying, can we say, okay, for the next 6 weeks, or till the end of the school year, it could be, not that we were trying to be negative, because, I like to be positive, but if there is an alternative to say, I want more for my child, can they do one class online, and is it set, and how, and all of that, the fees and everything are all online? That's what I meant.
For sure. So it's all there. So our program online is called Oak Online. So it's all at oaklearners.ca. And what we've done is we've offered a bunch of different options. So we have some classes that are running every day at a set time, and some classes that the content is there and can be accessed at any time. And then we have private tutoring that some parents are accessing once a week, like usual. Some are accessing it now 2 or 3 times a week. And what we're trying to add now, sort of our next phase, once we've got the basics there, is we're adding a lot more STEM classes. So we love doing the science, the inquiry-based learning, even the social studies stuff. We know that's not what the kids are getting these days, right? So they're getting worksheets, they're getting math sheets, they're getting some grammar, maybe writing stories, reading books, but they're not getting the stuff that really feeds their brains. So we want to offer that and offer it in a setting that's very cross-curricular. So we're offering it with literacy and math built into the subjects. So one that we have running right now is called All About Plants. And it's pretty fantastic. So I've got some plants actually growing in the school. So I planted a couple greenhouses. So we're doing some live shots of what that looks like as part of the program. But they're also reading and researching about plants. They're learning about the science of how plants grow. They're measuring them every day, maybe doing the experiments at home. So we're providing all of the instructions also that the children and parents can take this and do it at home too.
So this reminds me, I'm going to age myself, reminds me, way back when, I don't want to age myself, but I am, way back in the olden days.
Yes.
A long time ago, because I'm from Saskatchewan. In Saskatoon, we had this awesome science teacher. I was very fortunate. I mean, it was great. I think 3 through 5, I think it was. And we had like this whole big, huge, almost like a little zoo in our school, plus a whole plant thing going on. I don't know what you call it. But we got to learn about science experiments with plants, where we treated one with like love and sun, and the one that you like play loud music and like So have you done it? Like, is that like, have you done that? Like, or is that just
all kinds? No, that happens still all the time. And look, the important thing to take away from that is that that's what kids remember. They remember the hands-on learning. They remember the experiences. They don't remember worksheets. Like, do you remember worksheets that you did specifically learning how to, write a sentence, or learning how to fill in the blanks about parts of plants, perhaps? No, you remember the growing of the plants. So,
I remember no worksheets. I remember, best teacher ever. One of them was, I think her name was Miss Sedgwick. Oh my goodness. Grade 2.
Right?
Right? Grade 2. She played the guitar. We learned math through guitar playing.
That's amazing.
It was like, okay, no kid's going to want to learn 1 + 1. So she always taught it to a song. Like, I mean, one of the songs that still stick with me, I'm sure you've heard it, is 2 and 2 are 4, 4 and 4. Yeah. But most kids today's day don't know from.
No, and so one of the things, I don't know if you know, so in our logo we've got music notes,
Oh, you
in the tree,
do?
because music and the arts are such an integral part of education. So, our schools these days aren't doing enough music and art with the kids, but, that's what enriches their learning. A lot of kids learn musically. And so we need to offer that as part of the option. So what we do at Oak Learners too is we ask the kids like what questions they want to explore. So when it comes to plants, what do they want to know? So they want to know, okay, so this one's growing really nice in the sunlight. What happens if we put it in a room that doesn't have a window? They want to know, what happens if we cover it up with a glass jar instead of leaving it open in the air. So, there's different things. So, yeah, playing music, talking to it. Yeah, exactly. So, they want to know all these things, and we give them that opportunity to test it out. And, what we've been given now, I believe, and I just posted a blog on my site actually about this, is that, this chance right now for parents and teachers to work with children in this unique setting is to try new things. Yep. We have a chance to really personalize education. Technology offers the opportunity to post a lesson and adapt it for different children. What we're doing too with our regular day school students is we are offering one-on-one session. So we do the whole group thing as well, because that's important for socialization for the children to be able to learn with their friends. But then we go and we take them one-on-one. We say, okay, here's today's topic. Like, what do you want to explore about this topic? So that we can take this personalization and offer it to all of them. And, we're smaller, so we have a better opportunity to do that. But I think it's there for all teachers right now to figure out how to really personalize things for students. And parents are learning so much about their kids. Isn't it amazing how much, what a gift this is that parents get to see their child learn instead of just hearing it from the teacher?
Well, I think, so I'm in agreement with you. I think it's a gift. I don't know if you saw one of my Sunday, I do a whole thankful thing every Sunday. And one of them, I sort of started off with, this is thankful, but I want to do a little rant. And that is, I saw a lot of negative about a lot of parents saying, okay, I can't believe I'm working with my kids for this. This is not my job. And then I reminded everybody. And so they very quickly stopped ranting, at least for me to be able to see, because my nurse, as you know, I go to St. Mike's and see my nurse Megan, and she had to put her kids away, to her father's for the next 3 or 4 months. They're living there and she doesn't get to see them except through this. So I remind everybody that, you know what, instead of looking at it as a negative, make it a positive. I mean, look, I have a hard time. My daughter's not in the city. So for me, again, it's always about the contact. How do I see her? So I think it's great. One of the best things that I did, and I did it as a kid, only because my teachers did it. I guess growing up in Saskatoon, small school, it was very different, right? Than I think, because my husband said, oh no, we didn't do it. I said, didn't you have we learned about the First Nations by having them come in, and we built a teepee and we made bread and all those things. So I grew up probably more similar to your teaching process.
Yeah.
But one of the best ways, and I taught it to my kids because my daughter had a very hard time with fractions.
Yeah.
Is cooking.
Yeah, I know. And, cooking is a great way. Being in the kitchen with your children is a great way to learn about them. Teach them about organization. Teach them about fractions. Teach them about following steps. Cleaning up after themselves, and it's modeling. Children learn so much just by watching the adults in their lives. And what I tell parents, and what I've tried to say without ranting these days, because if I started to rant, I could go on for a while. But that's the problem. Parents are a child's first teacher, and the teachers get them for 6 hours a day, sure, but parents, you get them for life. And so, you know, you are the primary person they will always look to. And you may not be trained in how to teach math and how to teach language, but you do math and language yourself every single day. And the way that you approach it is going to model for your children how to approach it. And so if you see this as a hassle and a chore, then they're going to see it as a hassle and a chore. If you see this as an exciting learning opportunity, they will too. And, you know, this is the way that things are going. Everything is going online. We still need that connection and relationship. So that's never going to disappear from teaching. But we need to find creative ways to integrate the technology and the relationships.
So I've always been impressed. I mean, I've watched you grow your school I've known you personally for you. Everyone says to me,
yeah.
So who is she? I said, well, it's Kelly. And then they're like, okay, but who's Kelly? I said, well, she opened a school. And they're like, yeah, but how else do you know her? I said, well, she's like taught me some social media stuff and she knows what she's doing. I said, she's good. And they're like, okay, so you have a teacher, social. I said, yeah, it's all good. Don't worry. So everyone's like, okay, we will. Oh, look, see, here, he's a great guy. If you want him to come in and say hello to your work, so yeah, we love Dudu. I don't know, you're more than welcome to ask him, or we've got a magician, Aaron Matthews, if you want them to come and just do a little trick. Or I think Aaron would probably be science, right? Magicians, math, sciencey.
Oh, anything, you know, like it's just even that wonder. Like, you know, what I love about teaching is just having the kids like ask questions and have wonder about the world around them. So it doesn't have to fit into a subject for me, because learning is not compartmentalized. Learning is the world. Oh,
Serena's saying hello.
Hello.
And I believe you even met Serena too. I think a few years ago at some of the festivals she's come out, but you might not remember, but that's okay.
Hi, Serena.
Our kids are just happen to be a little bit older than what you're doing. So what grades do you teach up to?
So our day school program in person goes up to grade 6. Our online day school and inquiry-based programming goes up to grade 8 right now. But we do have tutors that work with students up to grade 12.
That and some my next questions, because I've had a few in high school say, do you offer tutoring? Yep. And I'm like, oh, I said, I know Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly.
And even, you know, some people have come, you know, from university, first year, second year, and sometimes it's the content they want help with, and sometimes it's the organization. So a lot of our tutors are also, we call them like learning coaches. And so they work with kids on how to organize. Grade 9 is a great time to do this. We have a lot of grade 9 students this year, not coming, you know, for us to teach them math, coming for us to teach them how to organize their binders, how to study for these like exams that are this big daunting idea for a lot of grade 9 students, right? And so we do a lot of working with them and coaching them and, you know, helping them keep on top of their work so that, you know, we're setting them up for success in the future.
That is so good. You know, I mean, organize. I probably did not do that one so well with my kids. I'm being very honest. But yet my kids are very organized. For sure they didn't learn that from me. That would be their father. I don't want to show you my office right now.
Oh, no, it probably looks like mine.
It's an organizational, chaotic chaos.
Yeah. But that's what I call it. Organized chaos. It's great. But as long as you know where things are and you have a system, that's what matters. And so a lot of kids though these days they're getting this message that there's one way to do things, and that's just not true, right? So there's not one type of agenda or one type of notebook that works for every single student. And so I tell them, you know, go to Staples, go look at all of the different agenda choices. Some of them have big empty sections, some of them have lines, some of them have a week on a page, some of them have a day on a page. You know, what makes sense to your brain?
I've even got a better one. I don't know if you knew this. My daughter, because she did that, was very, very big into a journal, and she still runs like agenda. She created her own online. So you could actually go to some site. I don't know what site it was, but it was a site where she actually put down exactly what she wanted for each day so she could fill it out, how it would work for her needs specific. You know, as a dancer, she said, Mom, doesn't say dancing this time. I wanted it specific for me, and so it let me create everything, and that's unbelievable in itself. So
No, it's fantastic. And there's so many tools out there like that. And I have a young girl in grade 7 that I work with, and I was telling her this, and she said, well, why don't I just draw it? Because I love art. And I was like, absolutely. So she grabbed a blank journal and made the boxes for herself and started, drawing pictures for the subjects instead of writing it. And I was like, that's amazing, because that's what has meaning for you.
Now you're on to drawing.
Yeah.
That's going to be my challenge to your school.
Yeah.
And now it's social distancing. We need cards. I don't know.
Okay.
We would love to make cards for now. We would
love to.
We've opened it up not to just kids in the hospital. We've opened it up to anybody that works in the hospital. So if they would like to make a card for a nurse, for a custodian, for a doctor, for the technologist, anybody that's in the hospital, not just the children. If it's in the children, they'll go in our craft kits, absolutely. And by the time we get it, then we hold on to it for 3 days before we even put it into a craft kit. So don't worry, we know the rules of social distancing, even the product. So that's
right. And you've been doing that and taking those precautions for years because of the very nature of the children that you work with.
Yeah. So you guys just all caught up to me. That's really what I want to say. But the difference is, to the hospitals, we are giving out cards of thanks to not just. So then we'll make a stack and put it in a Ziploc that says, these are for your nurses if they're feeling blue and they want thank you. And I'm very quick to say the custodians, because you know what? Every place gets cleaned up by these people. And we forget the custodians. I mean, that goes with everything. Everyone's very quick to thank the frontline workers, the truckers, the grocery stores, the hospitals, anything that we go to.
Yeah.
Remember, the people that clean those places, the FEMA's people, right?
Oh yeah. And that's so important. This is such an opportunity to teach our children about that. We need to teach them about how to recognize everybody in that whole chain, and recognizing the things that we often miss. I've been encouraging parents to take sorry, I forgot to turn off my notifications, but
that's earlier. See, I'm very bad at that.
Whoops. Okay.
And you taught me how, for the record.
I know.
I just want to point that out.
So, what was I saying? Oh, I've been encouraging parents to take what I call mindful walks around the neighborhood. Yep. I love doing this with our students. We go outside every day. We go for walks. We go to parks. We go down to the lake. And we do, wonder walks or mindful walks. Or, we do weird thing walks. I love this one, because if you tell children to look for things that are weird, they start to notice all the normal things too. And, so often we go for a walk down the street and it's like, oh, this is so boring. We're just walking down the street. Well, turn it into something where you start to teach children to notice their surroundings. And if you start pointing out things that are weird, then they start going, oh, yeah, I guess I see things that just don't belong every day. And they start to wonder, why is that sock in the middle of the street? And yeah, that doesn't belong there, instead of just walking past it all the time. And this is such a great opportunity to slow down. And it's, wondering, walking down the street and wondering, I wonder why that store is closed, but that one's open. And I wonder why I see, ambulances, fire trucks, and police cars, but I'm not seeing school buses, go past my house. And so, we start to recognize all the different people that have been affected by this.
Absolutely. I agree. Interestingly, there's a person by the name of Heather Fenyas that joined. I don't know if you
Hi, Heather. Yeah.
She is involved with a program called Consentus. And it probably would work with yours. I know it's out west, and I know that they're trying to bring it here. It's about, if I'm correct, treating everybody equal.
Yeah.
Human rights, basic issues, bullying, all the human rights with the First Nations, the Holocaust, all these different things. I'm going to just do the link here because I'm not really good. And Heather, we're hoping you can join us after Passover and talk about it. But I think, Heather, you and Kelly should connect, because I actually think her program would work really well in her school and vice versa. And how awesome would it be together? So that's just my little,
Awesome.
I just was in awe of that program. So and it just dawned on me when I saw that name. I'm like, oh, See, that's what I love about social media is that, you know, things just randomly come up in my head.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And so, Heather, can you send me a DM and we can connect when you have time? That's awesome. Thanks, Pam.
Okay, so now my next question is, tell me, it's the holidays. There's 2 of them this week.
Yep.
So now, are you a school that talks about all the holidays, or are you of the philosophy we don't discuss anything?
No, we talk about everything. So I actually just wrote a blog on that too, that it's important to talk with kids about difficult topics. You know, that's another thing that we brush over. And a lot of parents these days on social media are saying, how do I explain to my kid that we can't leave the house? And a lot of them don't want to tell them that it's something scary. But, you know, these kids are more astute and aware than we realize. And so, you know, they know that people celebrate different holidays. And, you know, just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And so, you know, I embrace that, you know, we need to talk about it. We need to, again, model for them how to approach these kinds of conversations. How do we approach the idea that your religion is different than my religion? And why do we believe different things? And is that wrong, or is that acceptable? And, you know, that answer may differ in different families, but I approach it from, let's just ask those questions. Let's let children ask those questions. Let's give them, you know, the middle answer, and then direct them back to their parents for, you know, what does your family believe about this? But if we don't let them ask their questions, then they're going to really wonder about it, and they're going to jump to their own conclusions. I've heard some really wild explanations in my time. You know, I've been teaching now for about 20 years. And so in that time, you know, I've heard kids say some pretty wild things. You know, another topic, there's the religious topic, but then there's the topic of race. And children are so scared to ask questions about race.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Oh, it is. And, you know, they shouldn't be scared to ask questions, because without asking questions and having those questions answered, they're never going to learn. And yeah.
But it's not just kids that are afraid to ask those questions. I've got to say it. I mean, we're probably the, and Kelly, I'm going to age you. Maybe I'm older than you, but for sure.
But not by much.
For sure, my generation and up, for sure, we're the generation where all of a sudden, an example is, sorry, example is pronoun, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's all new to me. Like,
Yep.
So, and I've been, you know, I would have loved somebody to say, okay, there's all these things out there, more than just, so we grew up, the generation was LGB. That was it.
Yeah.
And then now all the other letters came on, and I was like, I don't understand.
I don't understand.
And nobody took the time to explain it to our generation. Our generation was like,
it's true.
And so I think there's also been a gap. Unfortunately, we've had to sort of swim on ice where I don't.
It's true. And, you know, I think that goes to say, you know, and that's where it's so important to model. And, you know, we in our generation and every generation, I think there's always going to be an issue, whether it be religion, race, equality of different gender equality. You know, there's going to be an issue that's taboo. And, you know, if, you know, we grew up in a time where it was like, you know, don't mention someone's race, or, you know, oh my goodness, you're being so racist because you said that person's Black. And, you know, no, you know, we have to really start to have those conversations and get rid of our own insecurity with not knowing the answers. And I've had kids, yeah, like I've had kids ask me, you know, why are some people, what does transgender mean? And so I'll try to give the explanation, and then I'll say, you know, I know somebody who knows a lot more about this than me. Let's go talk to that person and get their answer, because I don't have all the answers. Right. And that is something so many teachers and parents are afraid to admit. But it's the most important thing, is admit that you don't have the answers. Ask the questions yourself.
I never have the answers. I always say, okay, you don't even want to know what I said. When my kids and I didn't have the answer, here was my fallback when my kids were little, and and of course now I can't say that, but this is the cute story, is it used to rain. Like, you know, when it rained outside and the kids would say, Mommy, where does the rain come from? And I would say, oh, God's crying.
Totally.
I was like, I don't know, it comes from the sky. And it, like, I was like, yeah. And then they got older and wiser and they said, okay, Mom, we're going to teach you why it's really crying. And I said, okay, you know what? My answer was pretty good though, until you went to school, right? And they're like, yes, Mom, but we're going to teach you. And I said, great. I'm so glad I could learn.
It's like the story of the stork bringing babies. You know how many parents don't like to answer questions about where do babies come from? And, you know, we need to help our children not see these topics as taboo, because they're being exposed to so much on social media, and they're going to come to their own conclusions.
They're going to know and teach us before.
Right?
And it's better to be educated and versus being ignorant. That's my opinion.
For sure.
So, now listen, it's moving to that halfway point where I start saying thank you and everything. I'm sorry. It's been a lot of fun.
I could talk to you all day.
Yeah, me too. So we're going to have you back. That's just
absolutely
it, you know?
Anytime.
So I'm thinking, I haven't decided what my crafts are going to be, because tomorrow and Friday really are religious holidays. So for the Jews, we start tonight for Passover, and then Good Friday, although it's still Passover, it's also the beginning of the Easter weekend. So yeah. I really actually didn't book guests, and I've been contemplating, do I go on? Don't I go on? Haven't really decided. But I know, but I'm thinking if I do go on, I'm going to do a story and a craft for each of those holidays, right? Because I thought that'd be something
That's beautiful.
Right? Something fun.
It's a hard decision for me too. You know, I think it feels like we've lost so much time, so I want to make up for that time. But then I was like, oh, but Friday's a statutory holiday. That means I can't make my staff work.
So it's like, right? But I'm not the staff. I'm just like me. But on a serious note, I want to say thank you. But you know what I always ask at the end, right? Have you been watching me to the very end yet? Or I know you log on.
I do. Yes.
So do you know the cardinal
Reminds me.
the cardinal question that we ask everybody, and I even did it yesterday with okay, you want an empowering woman? Watch the episode from yesterday. Seriously, she's a world leader in ballet, like director, like she makes the arts world a better place. Like I've never met somebody like her. Like really, some Ferdinand Prince met her and loves her, and Hillary Clinton. Like, I mean, all these people.
Wow.
So if you want to meet her, yeah, check her out. But I even asked her. That's the point. I asked her the same question. How long do you have to wash your hands for?
20 seconds.
Minimum, right?
Right.
So what do you sing or do to make that 20 seconds go by?
What do I so I have a song that I've always sang with kids. So it's not ABCs. What do I sing? So I go
we're ready. It's your turn.
Oh goodness. It's totally lost for me, because as they're washing their hands, I say something like, we wash our hands with soap. We wash our hands with soap. This is the way we wash our hands. We wash our hands with soap. And we go over and over again. And then we rinse our hands with water. We rinse our hands with water. We rinse the soap right off our hands. We rinse our hands with water. And, you know, it's something silly, it's something catchy, it's something memorable, and it's just, you know, a part of our day. Like, again, you know, this is where the world is catching up to us, but, you know, as a school, we enforce hand washing all day long. You know, we go, you know, oh, we came in from the park, let's go wash our hands. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because you were touching everything at the park. And, you know, for our kids, this has not been a huge transition. Some of us, like, we were blown away by how easily our students transition to this, because we've taught them every day that we just adapt. Every day is a new day. We adapt to what's being put in front of us. And as long as we know the basics, we know our manners, we know how we talk to each other, we know that we treat the world with kindness. I only have 2 rules at my school, Pam. My 2 rules are, we are safe and we are kind. And that's it.
Best 2 rules ever.
That's it.
Best
Everything else falls into that. If you're being safe and kind, you're going to be great. And that's how we approach the world. And so, you know, this has been easy for our kids to accept.
Well, then there you go. On that note, everybody should be safe and be kind and don't complain.
Safe Exactly.
Because if you're complaining, then you're not being kind.
Exactly.
Usually, right?
See, you're catching on.
Well,
This is the way that I principle. I'm like, hey, look, were you being safe and kind? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so then you know exactly what you did. I don't need to tell you, right? So, yeah.
Well, then there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to repost this back onto our Facebook page sometime tonight.
Fantastic.
I get some, trust me, it just takes me a little while. It does get on Facebook.
All right.
Major technical difficulties, but
I'm impressed.
Get you on Facebook. I've had a blast with you, Kelly. Come back anytime. If you see me online.
Absolutely.
The only day I will not accept somebody to talk to me is Sundays. So you can watch me Sundays, but I won't accept you to join. If I have nobody on and you don't see a guest, then I'm airing it live on Facebook and Instagram. You can always say, hey, Pam, I thought I'd just come in and say hello.
Oh, here's somebody that you need to talk to, too. So Becky Reed just joined. She works with me. She runs an OT, occupational therapy organization, and she's amazing. So approaches it from a more holistic and educational background than looking at the OT in isolation. And so she works with my school, and she would be a great person for you to chat to with as well.
So Becky, please DM us. We'd love to have you on our live show, and we can talk about OTs. I'm always like showcasing people in the neighborhood. That's it. Like, wait, Sunday I'm going to do something really cool to bring us back to our generation.
I love it. And I'm going to get my school working on making some cards for you.
That would be awesome. Anyways, I'm Pamela from Crafting for a Cure, and this is
Kelly from Oak Learners.
Check them out on their website at
oaklearners.ca.
Or Facebook?
Yep.
Or Instagram?
Facebook, Instagram, and I would say Twitter, but do people use Twitter anymore? Not so much.
And I don't like it, so because I don't understand it, so we're no Twitter. And Serena's saying thank you, so obviously she's looking at you.
Thank you, Serena.
That would be my bet. But thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Have an amazing weekend.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy your weekend.
And whatever
enjoy the holidays.
Enjoy.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye. Remove Oak Learners. Alrighty. Oak Learners left. Thank you very much for today. Another amazing episode. Wow, what a great week. As said, trying to decide what I'm going to do tomorrow and Friday. Probably I'll do a craft for Passover tomorrow, and Friday we'll do an Easter craft. So check us out. Something a little lighter, not so serious, but maybe a little bit to bring awareness about those two holidays. Great. I'm Pamela. Have a great day. See you later. And now...